You want the truth? Can you handle the truth? The truth? The universe totally supports you. That's the truth. That's the biggest truth you need to know. The universe totally supports you. Hold up. You saying you're going through stress? You're going through anxiety, depression, fear, flight? Why? The truth is the universe totally supports you. For those who tuned in to the first episode of The Universe Totally Supports You, it made sense, didn't it? The breakdown that we have about you, your thoughts, and where you direct your thoughts, and what type of thoughts you create, that these thoughts are what govern. By directing these thoughts to the universe must obey your command. But what are you thinking? Negative? About yourself and others? So you wonder why your life is always down, depressed. What is coming out of your mouth? Are you speaking life, or are you speaking death and sickness? These are the things that I want you to seriously, and I do mean seriously, family, think about as we approach episode 2. Because you're going to get a lot of healing done in this video today. But the thing about healing, if you're not ready to accept it, if you're not ready to put in the work and start the process to self healing, then you're just making excuses and you're just looking to be seen. But for the ones who are really in that pit of your stomach, family, you know that your time is coming. No, no, no. You know that your time is here now. It just feels like you just need that nudge, that push. I get it. So may this video today be that push, my brothers and sisters, that confirmation that you're looking for to realize that God has always been with you, that Christ has always been within, contrary to what your church has told you. So I want to welcome you all once again to the Cosmic Christ University. Come join us. This is the home where you can let your spiritual roots fly in abundance. We take you to all type of levels of the hidden knowledge and the higher spiritual knowledge. So come join us. I'm going to drink my water. It's going to be a beautiful, healing episode. Now, to my family who watched episode 1 of The Universe Totally Supports You, we broke it down for you. So I'm going to pick up right quick where we left off, family who watched episode 1. I'm going to pick up where we left off for those who watch episode 1. When we are very little, we learn how to feel about ourselves and about life by the reaction of the adults around us. Once again, and as I read this, I want you, viewer, I want you, family, my brothers and sisters of Christ, to think about your life, especially from the ages of 40 to 70 years old. If you range in that age group, I want you to sit back. If you're driving, focus on the road. Thank you for being intuitive with the word. I want you to sit back and just think about your life as I read for the next 35 minutes. And I thank you for your time. When we are very little, we learn how to feel about ourselves and about life by the reaction of the adults around us. It is the way we learn what to think about ourselves and about our world. Now, if you live with people who were very unhappy, frightening, guilty, or angry, then you learn a lot of negative things about yourself and about your world. And I quote, I never do anything right. And I quote, it's my fault. And I quote again, if I get angry, I'm a bad person. Quote, end quote. These are some of the things that you may have said, family. But listen, beliefs like this create a frustrating life. Beliefs like those create a frustrating life. Remember, for my biblical church people, as a man thinketh, so is he. For my church people, remember Romans 12:2 in your Bible. Do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And church people, this is going to make a lot more sense as we go further into this presentation. Let's move on to the next one. Now we're starting off with episode 2. When we grow up, we have a tendency to recreate the emotional environment of our early home life. 40 to 70 years old, if you are 40 or 70, 40 between that and 70 years old, you need to listen to this. When we grow up, we have a tendency to recreate the emotional environment of our early home life. There's a certain group of people, I got a feeling, may need to hear this again. When we grow up, we have a tendency to recreate the emotional environment of our early home life. This is not good or bad, right or wrong. It is just what we know inside as home. And I quote, home, end quote. We also tend to recreate in our personal relationships the relationships we had with our mothers or with our fathers. Stop. Stop. 7 minutes. Hit the like button if you can understand that. Hit the like button if it's been you. Hit the like button if you know somebody who's been through that. Minister, we might need you to read that again. Of course, no problem. I'll read the whole thing again. When we grow up, we have a tendency to recreate the emotional environment of our early home life. This is not good or bad, right or wrong. It is just what we know inside as, and I quote, home, end quote. We are also tend, listen now, we are also tend, listen now, we are also tend to recreate in our personal relationships the relationship we had with our mothers and with our fathers, or what they had between them. One more time. I heard somebody say, one more time, that's it, y'all. We also tend to recreate in our personal relationships the relationships we had with our mothers or with our fathers, or what they had between them. Think, that means you. Think how often you have had a lover or a boss who was just like, and that's a quote, end quote, just like your mother or father. I said, think how often you have had a lover or a boss who was, and I quote, just like, end quote, your mother or your father. We also treat ourselves the way our parents treated us. I got a feeling those likes should be going up. If anybody can relate, or you know somebody who can relate, those like buttons should be going up. Class participation is real in my university. I say class participation is real in my university, so those likes should be going up. Let's keep going. We also treat ourselves the way our parents treated us. Think about your personality. Think about your character. Think about it. Let's be honest here. A lot of people, I'm 40. I see a lot of people my age who are carbon copies of their parents. their parents' religion, their parents' ways. They have no identity outside of that. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Well, you be the judge. We also tend, excuse me, we also treat ourselves the way, we also treat ourselves the way our parents treated us. We scold and punish ourselves in the same way. You can almost hear the words when you listen. Mm-mm-mm-mm. We also love and encourage ourselves in the same way. I said, we also love and encourage ourselves in the same way. If we were loved and encouraged as children, let me bring that back all together. We can also love and encourage ourselves in the same way if we were loved and encouraged as children. How many of you were loved and encouraged as children by a raise of hands? I said, how many of you were loved and encouraged as children? Raise of hands. Don't worry, I can see them. If you're driving, you keep focused. You got one hand if you're a good one-hand driver. Keep focused on that road, though. Now, how many of, once again, by raise of hands, now, how many of you grew up in a toxic family setting as children? So you see the difference, A and B. Now you see the difference a difference can make. And I quote, these are quotes that I'm about to throw at you. You never do anything right. It's all your fault. How often have you said this to yourself? Now, I'm an ordained metaphysical minister. I'm a spiritual practitioner. Family, I'm about to get my doctor's degree in metaphysics. When I'm talking to you, I am talking to brothers and sisters of Christ, not the Christ that they try to feed you in church, the cosmic Christ. The cosmic Christ. When I am speaking to you like this, it is for the betterment of the whole, WHOLE. So if you are going through something in your life, if you are stressing, feel depressed, let this presentation, let my words be nourishment. Understand that God has always been within you. But you have to understand your worth before you can make this work. You must understand your worth before you can make this work. These are some of the things you may have said to yourself that were vital and where you are in your life, because words will speak life. In the beginning was the word. This is some of the things you may have said to yourself. And I quote, you never do anything right. It's all your fault. How often have you said that to yourself? Quote, end quote, by the way. How about this? Oh, how about this? How about this? Oh, but watch how we can flip it. Just like that. You are wonderful. I love you. How often do you tell yourself this? Whether you are working in your working environment, whether you're around your family, how many times have you heard people put their own self down? Like it's a normal thing, like drinking water. I have seen it. I have seen it. I have heard it. You are children of God, the source, the architect, the infinite creator. Children, divine mother and father. That's the divine source. We are supposed to get all the good that God has for us, and it's a lot. Unlimited source. But think about when you put yourself down based upon how you were raised, not knowing that that is not you. And as you're going to find out, it's not even them, the ones who may or you may felt like has put you down, as we're going to read. Because everything comes from an understanding. And the more understanding you have about life and about your life and the abundance of your life, the abundance of love, health, wealth. The more you open the window and open the door to what God really is. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on going. You are wonderful. I love you. How often do you tell yourself that, family? Some of you probably think it even sounds crazy to even say this to yourself, and that's crazy. Some of you think it's crazy to motivate yourself, inspire yourself, talk good about yourself. You that one, you him. Ladies, you her. Yes. I love me. I'm in love with me. I'm talking about the minister. The minister loves himself. It took me a while to get here. It took me a while to get here, family. There were steps. One of my inspirations, man, good brother, man, Draymond John, on one of his he got an album called Visualize, where it's nothing but motivational. It's music and motivation. The founder of one of the founders of FUBU, Damon John. I think it's Damon John. I want to put respect on my brother, Damon John. Dream. I'm gonna say Damon, Dreaming or Damon, but the founder of FUBU. You seen him on Shark or Shark Tank. This brother says, what is it? When one door opens, another door closes, but the hallway is always a bitch. Quote, end quote. And the brother said that, and I totally understood what he said. So I'm gonna say it one more time before I go back and think about your life. My brother Draymond, I want to say Draymond John, but shout out to you, brother. You've been a big inspiration for years for me, and I want to thank you so much. But he said, when one door opens, another door closes. When one door opens, another door closes. But the hallway is always a bitch. And if you can understand that one, yeah, check out his album, Visualize. It's music, and he's doing the motivation speaks to the whole thing. Shout out to Wallow, because Wallow's on there too. All right, let's get back to business. Once again, I want to make sure that you say this to yourself each and every day. When you wake up, before you go sleep, you look in that mirror or you tell yourself affirmations. Make sure you write those down too. You make sure you tell yourself, you are wonderful. I love you. Let's keep going. However, I would not blame our parents for this, because that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people blame their parents. You're 40, you're 50, you're 60, you're 70 years old, and you're still blaming your parents for where you are in life. That's a no-no. Because now we're blocking chakras. Now you're stopping your own growth while thinking you're trying to make somebody else feel bad. Listen to why you can't blame your parents. However, I would not blame our parents for this. Here's why. We are all victims of victims. Wow. We are all victims of victims. And they could not possibly have taught us anything they did not know. If your mother did not know how to love herself, I know. I'm hitting close to home with y'all. And I am supposed to. We are all victims of victims, and they could not possibly have taught us anything they did not know. If your mother did not know how to love herself, or your father did not know how to love himself, then it would be impossible for them to teach you to love yourself. And once you understand this, for those who have this tight hate or tight ill feel on your mother and your father, or any of your siblings, or anybody in your family, but especially your mother and father, if you are still 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, that's my target age right here, and you're still blaming your parents for the lack of love that they gave you, for the lack of support, then a lot of you can agree, just by knowing your family's past, that them themselves did not have it. that love that you look for in them. They didn't have it. So how can you expect? And I want people to really understand this in an unselfish way. And once you can understand this in the unselfish way, now that's when healing, we're talking about healing, right? That's when healing really shows its beautiful, beautiful face. Once you can sit back and like make it make sense, oh, like my mom, like my mom, she didn't, she barely had it, her parents barely understood. They was, or my father was lack of education, lack of knowing, just look at it in a different ways, and you'll understand that you cannot blame your parents for where you were at, because you are now an adult. You have your own mind. You've been moving and grooving this long. You've been doing this and doing that. So without their help, so I know you get it. I know you get it. Let's keep on going. They were doing the best they could with what they had been taught as children. We're talking about your parents. They were doing the best they could with what they had been taught as children. If you want to understand your parents more, get them to talk about their own childhood. I love doing this with mine. And I thank God that I still have both my parents to sit back, pops, mom, no matter what they went through in their relationship, no matter what they went through in their childhood. I just thank God I can sit back and talk to them in real time and have grown up conversations as their child. They were doing the best they could with what they had been taught as children. If you want to understand your parents more, get them to talk about their own childhood. And if you listen, family, and if you listen with compassion, you will learn where their fears and rigid patterns come from. This is so true. For those who never even had those, try it with your family. Everybody in the world, I'm talking about everybody. You are my brothers and sisters all over the world. Try it. Instead of holding that grudge with your mother, instead of holding that grudge with your father, I want you to be the bigger one and talk to them. Have a conversation about their childhood, and it'll start to make sense. Until you do, you are blocking your own blessings, thinking you are doing something by not speaking to your family member. That's how this works. And yet, some of you who do this call yourself children of God or God righteous people. No, you're not. Not by doing that. Not by holding a grudge against a family member, especially a mother and father, especially on a situation like this. Once again, they were doing the best they could with what they had been taught as children. Once again, if you want to understand your parents more, get them to talk about their own childhood. And if you listen, family, with compassion, you will learn where their fears and rigid patterns come from. Those people did all that stuff to you, and I quote, those people who did all that stuff to you, that's a quote, end quote, those people who, and I quote, did all that stuff to you, end quote, were just as frightened and scared as you are. I'm laughing because this is where healing really starts. Once you can figure this piece of the puzzle out, this is where you're healing. But a lot of people, even with hearing this, they still got a tight grip on their ego. They're still saying no, 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 because they feel hurt. They want justice for what has been done to them. Your validation has no connection with God until you let go of all the hurt and you realize what just been said here. I'll read that one more time. People who did all that stuff, they did all that stuff to me, is what you may say, were just as frightened and scared as you are. Let's keep on going. I believe that we choose our parents. Each one of us decides to incarnate upon this planet. I said, each one of us decides to incarnate upon this planet at a particular point in time and space. We have chosen to come here to learn a particular lesson that will advance us upon our spiritual evolutionary pathway. We choose our sex, our color, our country, and then we look around for the particular set of parents who will mirror the pattern we are bringing into work. Once again, we choose our sex, our color, our country, and then we look around for the particular set of parents who will mirror the pattern we are bringing in to work on in this lifetime. Then, when we grow up, we usually point our fingers accusingly at our parents and whimper, and I quote, "You did it to me," quote, end quote. But really, we choose them because they were perfect for what we wanted to work on overcoming. Now, on 25 minutes, going on 26, that's a lot. That's a lot. Can you handle that? We're talking about healing here, family. I'm going to read that again. You want healing, right? We are giving you the tools to use to heal yourself and others. Let's listen to this again. I believe that we choose our parents. Each one of us decides to incarnate upon this planet at a particular point in time and space. We have chosen to come here to learn a particular lesson that will advance us upon our spiritual evolutionary pathway. We choose our sex, our color, our country, and then we look around for the particular set of parents who will mirror the pattern we are bringing in to work on in this lifetime. Then, when we grow up, we usually point our fingers accusingly at our parents and whimper, here's a quote, "You did it to me," end quote. But really, we choose them because they were perfect for what we wanted to work on overcoming. Some of you are going to have to take that before you go to sleep and think about that. It's a true story, by the way. It's a true story. Now, we're stopping at 35 minutes. The reason I keep these short is because the brain responds in a different way to shorter presentations. And this is very important. Something that you can just, 35 minutes is not too much of a bad time for you to watch everything. You understand it? I got it good. It's in your subconscious. Now you can start working on your life. This is my intention with this. Now, the point of power is always in the present moment. I agree. The point of power is always in the present moment. Don't look to the future. Your future is now. All the events you have experienced in your lifetime, for my people who are between 40 and 70 years old, I need you to listen. I said to my family, my brothers and sisters who are between 40 and 70, listen to this. All the events you have experienced in your lifetime up to this moment have been created by your thoughts and beliefs you have held in the past. This is true. This is true. All the events you have experienced, I'm talking to you, my family. All the events you have experienced in your lifetime up to this moment have been created by your thoughts and beliefs you have held in the past. I can already tell this is going to be another one. Once you at nighttime, I'll get ready to go to sleep. This is going to revisit you through your subconscious. So much, I'm going to say it again. All the events all the events you have experienced in your lifetime, family, up to this moment, have been created by your thoughts and beliefs you have held in the past. They were created by the thoughts and words you used yesterday, last week, last month, last year, 10, 20, 30, 40, or more years ago, depending on how old you are. Minister. Sometimes I really want to make sure the words get through to your head because, like I told you 3 or 4 years ago when I started doing this on YouTube, I am talking not to the flesh when I do this. I am talking to your spirit, your soul, your subconscious, the real you, the inner you. So, to the inner you who are listening to me, I want to read this one more time. All of the events you have experienced in your lifetime up to this moment have been created by your thoughts. Remember Romans 12:2 in the Bible. Have been created by your thoughts and beliefs you have held in the past. They were created by the thoughts and words you used yesterday, last week, last month, last year, 10, 20, 30, 40, or more years ago, depending how old you are. However, that is your past, family. That is your past. A lot of you, and trust me, I understand this, but I over and inner understand now. You blame yourself for things that happened in your past, and these things that you blame yourself for, you have dragged along like a long dirty gown, like you just drag it along like a dead body in a freaking duffel bag or something. And you never let yourself grow. You are still blaming yourself for things you did 20, 30 years ago. Instead of forgiving yourself, letting go and let God and grow. Let's keep on going, because remember, I'll stop this at 35. I'll stop this at 35. No matter what is being said, we're stopping at 35. However, family, that is your past. It is over and done with. What is important in this moment is what you are choosing to think and believe and say right now. I'm going to reiterate this for my beautiful family watching. Stop blaming yourself for things that you have done in the past. That's the past. Let go and let God. Let the dead bury the dead. However, that is your past. It is over and done with. What is important in this moment, family, is what you are choosing to think and believe and say right now. For these thoughts and words will create your future. Your point of power is the present moment. Your point and power is the present moment and is forming the experience of tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, and so on. You might notice what thought you were thinking at this moment. Is it negative or positive? You might be, the whole time I'm talking to you, you might be saying, this nigga glasses. Like this, even while you're thinking and listening to this, you get a whole nother thought. I wonder what I'm about to do tomorrow. You're hearing me, but like, man, I'm about to go over to Shorty house. Or I'm about to roll up. I'm about to go get me some meat. You see what I'm saying? So is it negative or positive? You might notice what thought you were thinking at this moment. Is it a negative or positive? Do you want this thought to be creating your future? Just notice and be aware. And we're going to end here. We're going to end here. And I thank you so much for rocking with me and rocking with the university. The only thing we are ever dealing with is a thought. And a thought can be changed. And we're going to end it here. I said the only thing we are ever dealing with is a thought. And a thought can be changed. Here we go. No matter what the problem is, no matter family, no matter what the problem is, our experiences are just outer effects of inner thoughts. Even self-hatred is only hating a thought you have about yourself. You have a thought that says, and I quote, I am a bad person, end quote. This thought produces a feeling and you buy into the feeling. However, if you don't have the thought, you won't have the feeling. And thoughts can be changed. Change the thought and the feeling must go. This is only to show us where we get many of our beliefs. But let's not use this information as an excuse to stay stuck in our pain. The past has no power over us. It doesn't matter how long we have had a negative pattern. The point of power is in the present moment. What a wonderful thing to realize. We can begin to be free in this moment. Cosmic Christ University, ordained metaphysical minister. Corbin. We here, family.